Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Friday. Let's see, August 16th. Yes. Good to see you today. Will Marotti Show, your host, Will Marotti, Common Sense Evangelist. We're getting a lot of things today, a lot of news coming in. Got a great show for you today. Let me see my chats there, Mr. DA, so I can say hello to people as they come in. We have two great guests. One specifically relating to the ridiculous approved rate increase for Eversource, as if we don't already have the second highest electric rates in the country, Pura, which I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what the value of Pura is. I think it just should be eliminated and let the General Assembly take care of it. A committee, something. I'm sure we're paying all these people. I don't know how it works. I'm just not good. Why in the world would anybody approve a rate increase at this point in time with the economy as bad as it is? I don't understand. Hey, good morning, Luke. Good morning, Izzy. PK, Dorothy M, Greg P, Sharon S, Jeff B, Lori L, Carol L, Priscilla N, Donna T. I don't know why. I don't know why the Donna T gets me, but Elaine P, Martine C, Matt D, Melody, good morning. Cassie S, Judy P, Doreen, Lori M, Tracy, good morning, Tracy. Shelby out in Illinois, good morning. Janessa, good morning. Gigi, good morning. So good crowd already coming in. Thank you so much. Let's say our prayer. I'm going to jump into the news, and then I'll tell you who our guests are. Heavenly Father, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we thank you for another great day of life, another day that we woke up on our own power. We're here. We're doing it. We're talking. We're functioning. We're thankful, God. Thank you, Lord, for family, for friends, all the many, many blessings that you share with us. Your love, your grace, your mercy, your patience, your forgiveness, most importantly, the promise of heaven. We thank you for that, Lord. Thank you that we still live in a relatively free country. We can do things like this. We can come on. We can talk about things, issues. We can discuss, debate. Thank you. Thank you so much for the liberty and freedom that we do have. But we do pray for our country, Lord. It's upside down. People are uninformed, uneducated. I don't know that someone even like a Kamala Harris could get any kind of approval after being, well, you know the story. I don't have to go into it. So we need your help, God. We need tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people to turn to you. We need a great awakening in this country spiritually. We need a revival, and maybe that has to start first, a revival in your church to draw people closer to yourself and make people be more on fire for you, more committed, more enthusiastic, more willing to serve, to pray, to give, to support. Maybe it's renewal before great awakening, a revival before great awakening. I don't know, but we just need your help, God. We've done everything we can as a country to push you aside. We want to embrace you fully, Lord. We want you to back in all of our business, and I don't care who gets mad about it. Oh, thank you for all of our military folks. Keep them safe, protect them today. Some that are already in harm's way, comfort their families. Thank you for our veterans who's already so faithfully served. Bless and protect them and their families. First responders, without question. Law enforcement, border patrol, ICE, FBI needs a revival. So does the Secret Service. Wow, unbelievable. Help us, God. We have no one else to ask. And if the country's going to survive, if it's going to continue as it started, we need your help, God. We need your hand of intervention to protect and to preserve this country. And so we thank you for it. Thank you for this audience. Wonderful. Thank you so much for folks watching, listening. Bless them today. Comfort them. Comfort those that are grieving. Heal those that are sick. Give peace and reconciliation to those who are having discord in their family and anyone with financial issues, resource. And thank you. Thank you again for being able to be on the air today. Thanks for DA. Thanks for AT, Gigi, LJ. Everybody who helps and makes the show possible. We'll give you thanks and praise in Jesus' name. Amen. Can I get an amen out there? Amens are gladly received. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. You can do them anywhere that you're listening from. You can do that. Rumble, Spotify, whatever. And if you're listening to Spotify, thank you so much. We really appreciate. That's what the beauty of this is. We do it every day at 9:00, but then it can be listened to anytime, 24/7. Watch, listen to, replayed, whatever. We love it. Thank you so much. If you're on YouTube, please help us. There's a goal we're trying to reach before the end of this month. We need you to subscribe. Please do it now. Hit that subscribe button. It's free, costs you nothing. Subscribe, hit it. Follow us on Rumble. Follow us on Spotify. If you're listening on Spotify, please do that. Good morning again. Oh, all these amens come in. Thank you, Sandy B. Thank you, Valerie H. Debbie A. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to have two great guests today about this rate increase. We're going to have Ryan Fazio on. Ryan represents the 36th District, Greenwich, Stamford, New Canaan. He's on the energy. He's a ranking member of the Energy and Technology Committee, also Finance, Revenue, Bonding, and we're going to get his take on this rate increase and I don't know, Pura, why bother? I don't know, just frustrating. Talk to Ryan today, and then Governor John Rowland at 9:35 today. Talk about the Kamala craziness, the Kamala frenzy. How can this woman, who just weeks ago we found out was ranked the worst vice president in modern day history, how is it possible that now she's the darling? I don't get it. I don't understand it at all. We have more cleansing going on. ESPN is not a friend to conservative people at all. There was, I feel bad about this because this was a person who graduated from Liberty University, go Flames, in 2009, and she's been let go. Sam Ponder, host of Sunday NFL Countdown, has been fired, according to ESPN. Had a 3-year, $3 million contract. Financial reasons. No, it wasn't financial reasons. You know what it was? Because she spoke out against transgender mania. She spoke out against men being allowed, biological males, to compete with women. And oddly enough, right after that, she was let go. Yep. Samantha Ponder said, I barely said anything publicly about this issue. And people would stop me in the streets to say thank you. Tell me stories about girls who were afraid to speak up for fear of loss to employ. It's not hateful to demand fairness in girls' sports, right? Now, this started back in May, is when she retweeted former collegiate swimming champion Riley Gaines, who competed against biological person Leah Thomas. And anyway, that wasn't the end of the controversy. USA Today sports columnist: don't be fooled by people who screech about fairness to cloak bigotry towards trans. You stupid moron. Don't be fooled by people who preach fairness to cloak bigotry. This isn't bigotry. This is common sense. This is science. Remember COVID? Oh, we make all decisions by science. This is science. Chromosomes. This is pure science. That's all this is. Kaylee, good morning. Good morning, Tom B. Sharon S., thank you so much. But it's not Ponder or Steele or Gaines. Sage Steele, another one, got canned. Boy, I tell you, they not too much into equity, diversity, inclusion, are they, at ESPN? They're firing all the female reporters. Why? Because they have an opinion. Because they open their mouths and say something that doesn't fit the corporate line. And to have ESPN headquartered in Bristol, what an embarrassment. What an embarrassment. And then Governor Malloy gave them $200 million to produce all these jobs years ago. And they've had, 4 or 5 layoffs since then? They've lost far more jobs than they've ever created. Oh, we've got our heads in the sand. I'm telling you guys, this is ridiculous. Anyway, so absolutely all these things, and they let her go because Oh, because she's a bigot against transgender people. There are no transgender people. It's a mythology. It's a mental illness. God created male and female. It's very simple. Oh, gosh. Thank God for lisinopril. All right, because the Biden economy is going so, the Harris Biden economy is so strong. Are you ready for this? I hope so. Of course you should be voting for Trump. Who else are you going to vote for? The empty pantsuit? I have to admit, she has a better selection of pantsuits than Hillary. Many more colors than Hillary. I have to hand it to her pantsuit designer. Oh gosh, I don't know. Cisco, the big software giant, laying off 7% of its workforce. Let's see. Job cuts would be, that's about 5,900 people. They already laid off 4,000. And they're going to invest $1 billion in what? They're going to shift their focus to what? AI. Now, I was saying 4 years ago, at least, maybe 5, that AI would cost jobs. It would push people out. It would cost jobs. It would cause all kinds of craziness. And I guess, yeah, no, it won't. Yeah, okay, it did. All right, thank you. Now this is a company I'm familiar with, Sonos. They make Bluetooth speakers. They're laying off 100 people. Patrick Spence, CEO of Sonos, introduced layoffs in a statement emphasizing the difficult decision was crucial for prioritizing investments in the company's product roadmap. You never see the CEOs or board people or other C-suite people. You never see them taking cuts in pay, right? We just lay off the minions. That's what we do. Now this is terrifying. Another Connecticut-based company, at least it was Connecticut-based company. This is from Jazz yesterday, after we had him on the program, late yesterday afternoon. Something's up with Subway, referring to the sandwich shop franchise, not your local public transportation system. Whatever's going on certainly doesn't sound good at first glance. The company sent out a notice late last week, hastily calling for an online conference with all of its 19,000 North America affiliates. The meeting was called with almost no notice. The company isn't referring it to an emergency meeting. It is. The food giant sold itself in April for $9 billion to Rourke Capital. Now, I know Rourke because of Dunkin', Arby's, and Cheesecake Factory. Now that they sold it. Now, and folks that own a lot, there's a regional manager said roughly 1,000 stores during the period of June 5th to July 16th, including the crucial July 4th weekend. Sales fell 9% compared to the same time, almost 10% compared to last year. Not good. Not good. So we don't know. Is Subway going out of business? We hope not. All right. Do we have Ryan out there? Not yet. Okay. Gosh. Okay. I don't know if this is a true story or not. But I'm going to share it anyway because it's interesting. First, I'm going to send a text. Let me know. Let me know, DA, if he's not if he pops in. So you remember when the back in May of 22, when the pipeline, the Nord Stream pipeline, Russia's pipeline, got blown up, and everybody was like, "Wow, who did it?" And the foolish people said it was Putin. Makes no sense at all. More people thought it was either Ukraine or the United States. I said it was us. I thought it was a CIA move. This story just surfaced. This is from the Wall Street Journal. In May of 2022, a handful of senior Ukrainian military officials and businessmen had gathered to toast the country's remarkable success in halting the Russian invasion. Oh, okay, remarkable. And then they had someone suggested a radical next step, destroying the Nord Stream pipeline. After all, the twin natural gas pipelines carried Russian gas to Europe, were providing billions to the Ukraine war machine. What better way to make Vladimir Putin pay for his aggression? Okay, Ryan should be there in a moment there, DA. So 4 months after, a Scandinavian seismologist picked up signals indicating the underwater explosion, volcanic eruption, or whatever. So here's the deal. For the first time, the operation cost about $300,000. What they did was they went out on a yacht. They went out on a yacht, and they disguised as, fun-loving people. They actually included a woman, a very attractive woman, to make it look like they were out there frolicking in the waves. And it was actually, these Ukrainian special forces people. And supposedly they, while they were out on the yacht pretending to be having a grand old time with heavy boozing, they blew up the pipeline. No one's arguing it. No one's denying it. All right. So Ukraine's ambassador to the UK did send out a text message. Says he knows nothing of such operation. Any suggestion to the contrary is a mere provocation. Okay, well, that's fine. That's good. Putin was publicly blamed for the attacks. I thought we at least had a hand in it, but it turns out to be Ukrainians after all. All right, joining us now on video, and we're going to talk about this pure approving of all times. Why would you approve a rate increase now? Gosh, this is crazy. Ryan Fazio was elected senator in August 21. He represents 36th District, which is Greenwich, Stamford, New Canaan. He is the ranking member on the Energy and Technology Committee. So we're grateful that Ryan's taking the time in this summer break period. Ryan, welcome to the show, Senator Fazio. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Will. Good to be with you.
So help us understand. We got the highest inflation in 40 years. We had a 0.1% drop off, a big cooling in inflation that's been reported. Why in the world would anybody, and I get two questions. Why would they improve a rate increase now? And the second question, larger question, is what is the purpose and do we need PURA? That's, I guess, what I'd like to know. So,
Well, I think every state has a public utilities commission because
sure.
the kind of the constitutional legal model of a utility is you can't profit above a certain point, but you need to be kept in check, and you can basically charge customers for your costs plus a little bit, but you can't charge more. And so we need a tough PURA. This was a pretty strange decision in my mind because you're subsidizing the installation of electric vehicles basically on the backs of ratepayers. And there was controversy over this program for a little while now because the utilities were arguing they weren't getting enough recovery in order to justify them participating. So basically what happened is, in order to get the utilities to participate, PURA had to agree to give them a high enough recovery of the costs. So, in the first place, this wasn't going forward with the utilities because the utilities were saying they weren't making a high enough profit. So the fact that now it's going forward means that the utilities are making what they think is a sufficient profit to justify the program. So that's one kind of background on it. The other is that it is a government subsidy through your electric bill for people who are doing installations of electric vehicle chargers. I mean, I have the image in my head of a millionaire who is buying a $75,000 Tesla, being subsidized $1,000 for the installation of that charger and $1,000 rebate on the backs of a grandma on a fixed income without a lot of money in the back.
That's
Thanks.
good illustration. That's good. I
That's
mean,
really
I
good.
I know right in Wallingford, Ryan, we've got Route 68 in Wallingford. They're planning on a beautiful piece of property that could be used for any purpose at all. They're planning on installing a charging station, and now Wallingford's one of the few cities that has an independent, utility company. Doesn't use UI, doesn't use EverSource. My question is, do they even have the capability to generate enough power to make this charging station work? And I don't understand why this keeps getting pressed and pressed and pressed. I think, I mean, it seems like there's not enough research to be done to even know if we're able to produce it. I mean, someone from EverSource said last year that they don't have the grid capability to produce enough energy for all these electric cars that are being proposed. So why do we push forward with this stuff?
Well, that was the big problem with the proposed electric vehicle mandate. I mean, I thought you had to be kind of, have your head in the clouds to think that that was a feasible program, especially for New England. I mean, the background is the regional regulator of the electric grid, which is called ISO New England, thinks that our need for power is going to go from a max amount of 25 gigawatts in New England currently to 43 gigawatts in 2040. And that is without including electric vehicle mandates that a few of the states have now implemented. And so that means we're going to need to find a 60-70% increase in the power generation, at least in order to meet the needs of the electric grid, more electric heat, more electric vehicles, and more data centers. And where's that power going to come from? Well, the only thing that's in the queue right now is, very little bit of solar. So the solar isn't, a huge amount, but a decent amount of offshore wind. Well, the offshore wind is probably going to cost 15, 16 cents per kilowatt hour compared to the 3 cent per kilowatt hour market cost for electricity mostly generated from natural gas. So
Sure.
This is, we're probably not going to have enough power if we keep subsidizing demand in 15 years. But also, if we do, it's going to be at 3 times, 4 times, 5 times the cost of generating electricity currently. I mean, we are walking into a big, big economic problem in this state in a decade, 15 years time. And if we don't start legislating, making reforms for the long run, we're not only going to have to worry about costs going way up, we're going to have to worry about the lights staying on.
Well, I mean, to your point, there's already now times in California, certain periods of the year, where they ask you not even to charge your car during the day, and they have rolling blackouts now. So I mean, it just, again, it's so ill conceived, and I don't know why we keep pressing this way. I had lunch with someone the other day who told me about, and he's in the energy industry. He said that Amazon is building these giant computer, not warehouses, but computer centers to be able to work on all their AI technology. And AI uses so much power that Amazon is contracting and buying their own electric generators, massive, massive electric generators,
Yeah.
to power these data centers, because they know the local municipalities can't provide the power. I mean, good for them for doing that. But I don't understand. I read an article the other day, for all of the green energy that we're pushing, 10% comes from wind and solar right now.
Yeah.
And we've got enough natural gas in the United States under the ground to supply us for 200 years.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
No, it's, we're not going to be able to do this electrification without more natural gas from the West. So there was an inquiry put in by the pipeline company, Enbridge, to potentially expand the existing pipeline. And it was, I thought, a smart proposal because it was the least kind of regulatory barriers to do the expansion. It was just expanding the existing pipeline in the existing right of way. And what they were saying is that if they were able to do that, that would equate to roughly 2.75 gigawatts of added power equivalent. Now, again, New England consumes, max demand is 25 gigawatts. So that's a pretty good increase. But, as I said before, ISO New England saying we're going to go up to 43 gigawatts in 2040 with all the new electrification. They don't really even include data centers in their forecast.
Mm.
So,
Mhm.
we're going to at least need that. By the way, natural gas is a lot cleaner emissions than
Sure,
oil or
sure.
coal. And if so, we got to do that. I mean, we at least have to do that. The numbers just don't add up otherwise. Again, they say that most of the generation is going to come from offshore wind. Well,
No.
that's 5 times the cost of natural gas produced electricity, and it runs 40% of the time. So what are you going to do the other 60% of the
Well, again,
time?
even if the cost wasn't an issue, the fact that it only runs at 40%, there's just not enough. The math doesn't work, and this is why it's so crazy. This is such folly. We have people telling us this can't work. We know the numbers don't add up, and yet we continue to push. And I think that the difference is when you're being driven purely by ideology and not by facts, you make bad decisions.
Yeah, ideology is a very dangerous thing across history, and it's a substitute for religion.
Yeah,
It's political
yeah,
worldviews, radical
yeah.
political worldviews, taking the place of kind of theories of more metaphysical theories of the case. And if the square peg doesn't fit in the round hole, it means you just got to try harder,
Yeah.
and that's not
Or
a good.
spend more money.
Exactly. That's not a good way of operating in the world. You have to look at facts. You have to be practical. And we're not arguing. Those of us, I want to see a cleaner environment.
We
I
all
think
do. Right?
I
Have you
think
ever heard
EVs
anybody
are
say,
great.
I want to pollute the water and I want air that's not breathable? No one ever says that,
Yeah.
right? We all want a clean environment. But our environment's cleaner now than it's been in decades. We've got the cleanest air we've had in decades right now.
Guess
It
what?
just all right.
Connecticut's.
Can I just when
Go
in the
ahead,
minute
Will.
we have left, can I just get really small and critical here for a moment? These
Your
Pura
show.
people, how many people are on the Pura Award?
Three.
Do they get paid?
Three, four. Well, they just appointed a fourth.
Okay, do they get paid?
Yes.
Okay. So why don't we just take you and 4 or 5 other people in fairly Democrat, Republican, how it works out, and you guys just do it? Why do we have to pay extra people to make bad decisions? Why can't we just pay you guys? Or you guys are already there. You're familiar with all this stuff. You guys know as much as Pura knows. Why don't we just have you guys do it?
Well, the most recent appointment was a former Democratic state representative who was chair of the Energy Committee right before I became ranking member of the Energy Committee. So Arconti, obviously, there was a little bit of controversy regarding Arconti's appointment, but he has a good reputation. So I don't know.
I'm sure he does.
Well, but here, what I will say is this. What I will say is this. It's I know a lot of people, think that the fault is in Pura, generally speaking. A lot of people think the fault are in utilities, generally speaking. I would say that the utilities are not very good in this state, generally
Mhm.
speaking, compared to other states.
Is it second highest? We've got the second highest electric rates, energy
Um,
rates of the 48 states
Will,
contiguous.
don't exaggerate. It's the third highest.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Um, it is. It's after Hawaii and California.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I'm saying 48. Take Hawaii out. We're second.
yes. So listen, the fault. I do think it's underappreciated how much of the fault lies with the state legislature generally.
Yeah.
Because the public benefits fees are the cost of the policy decisions passed by the state legislature and signed by the governor. And yeah, this most recent Pura decision boggles my mind. I do think the chair, is pretty tough on the utilities, so she's trying to do her best for the consumers. And so I disagree with this decision. But the most underappreciated culprit in the high electricity costs is the state legislature's decision making over 15 years, roughly, to impose cost upon consumers through basically a hidden tax in your electricity bill. And so the people whose doors that your listeners or viewers should be banging down is their state senators and their state representatives, asking them to call for a special session and pass reforms that reduce those costs, those hidden taxes, and pave a better way through our state laws.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. I think the answer to that, it's a short answer, hard answer. Just we need more Republicans. I don't know. I don't know. We need we've had one party rule in the state for a long, long time. We need someone else to take a whack at it. So why not you guys? Hey, Ryan, thank you so much for coming on. Senator Ryan Fazio, we really appreciate. Keep up the good work, doing a good job. Thanks for taking the invitation and joining the folks this morning. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break, 3 minutes, and we get back. Former Governor John G. Rowland. We'll talk about state stuff, national stuff, and the Kamala craze when we return. 3 minutes. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Great to have Ryan Fazio on this morning. Here's just a little anecdotal information. So, our very own Pastor Chris, born and raised in Connecticut, or at least raised in Connecticut, been here his whole life, recently took a senior pastor position in Illinois. So he just he said on average in Connecticut they were paying $370 a month for electricity. They've been in Illinois now for several months. They're paying $148. And for the little bit of natural gas they're using right now, that included the natural gas. So a more than 50% cut just moving to Illinois. Wrong. Okay. Hey, joining us now, I'm so excited. So excited every time he shows up. Former governor of Connecticut, former congressman of Connecticut, Governor John Rowland. Hey, Gov.
Good morning, Will. How are you?
I'm good. Love the picture there.
That's my boat.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my escape valve.
You're a regular seafarer, aren't you?
Yes.
I don't know where to start. I want to talk about Kamala And this is what baffles me. And you know politics better than any person I've ever met, and I think probably better than the vast majority, if not all now. How is it that this woman who I mean, to say that she's an empty pantsuit might be too generous. The worst rated vice president in modern day history, horrible DA in California, nothing as a vice president, border czar, wasn't a czar. She certainly was put in charge of the border by President Biden. All the Border Patrol people are saying she never even reached out to us, never even talked to her. She went to the border once, and it wasn't even a hot zone. It was like somewhere away from the border. She went to Texas, we could say that. How is it that this person who is so not qualified, not capable, how has she become the darling of the media? How does she go from the worst ranked vice president to like the savior? How is this possible?
Because it's not about her.
Really?
It's all about Donald Trump. So, I mean, it could be Mickey Mouse. It could be Kamala Harris. It could be the man in the moon. It doesn't matter. The world is divided in two, those that love Trump and those that hate Trump.
Yeah.
And it's not about her. And the media doesn't care about her. It could be, somebody from the Three Stooges. It doesn't make any difference because it's all about beating Donald Trump. So, I mean, and that's why they ran Biden out of the office.
Yeah. So
here's the deal. Against Biden, you had X amount of Trump haters and X amount of Trump lovers, but it got to the point where even people that hated Trump or neutral were going to have a very hard time voting for Biden. I mean, I talked to a lot of people, they hate Biden. So I said, what are you going to do? You're going to vote for, they hate Trump. So I said, you're going to vote for Biden? They said, no, I'm not going to vote. Now, these are highly educated, sophisticated people. And they said, I'm just not going to vote. So now you bring in Kamala Harris. And is she more tolerable than Biden? Can they accept her versus Trump? And the answer is yes. So we're in trouble. I think, she's not going to do any interviews. I mean, we're all churned up about she hasn't done any interviews. She's not talked. The rest of the world doesn't care. The rest of the public doesn't care. The rest of the voters don't care. And so it's.
So do you think, is this a product of Trump? Or is it a combination of Trump and our demographics have changed so dramatically in the country? Or is it more the demographics? So is it Trump demographics, or demographics?
That's a really, really good question. And it's a combination of both. Trump sucks up all the oxygen in the room. He's bigger than life.
Yeah.
And again, so let's say 45% of the country loves him, 45% hates him. That leaves 10% out there. And the whole campaign really comes down to that less than 10% in those particular 5 states. And the demographics are such, to your point, that the younger voters probably all hate Trump, but they're not going to vote. What Kamala Harris brings to the table, she brings back the African-American vote that Biden was losing. And Trump was in his zone 3 months ago, 5 months ago. Yeah. He was really in his zone. He was better off going to court and coming outside, and he was more, what's the word I want to use? More dramatic, more interesting then. He's not interesting anymore. He's droning on. I mean, I'm still trying to meet somebody that actually, stayed awake for his convention speech. It just went on for hours.
Well, the first half hour was great.
Yeah, but the next 2 hours, then the next 2 hours were brutal.
He was just, it was painful. It was painful.
He slipped into automatic pilot. I saw him yesterday. I watched for, half an hour. I'm like, it's the same old.
Well, even last night he did a press conference yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was an hour of Trump talking and 20 minutes of reporters asking questions.
Right. And he's doing it just to compare himself to her not doing anything. I had a friend of mine, he was like, all the exercise. She's not doing anything, blah, 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 blah. I said, nobody cares. He said, what do you mean nobody cares? I said, you and I care. You care that she's not talking to the public or talking to the press. Nobody else cares. So people are just getting ready. The key question, who's going to be motivated to vote? And the haters are motivated and the lovers are motivated. But what's in between is still to be determined. I don't think he's moved the dial. I don't think he's moved the dial since the convention. She's on a honeymoon. Their convention, you're going to think she cured cancer after this weekend.
I'm
vote.
starting to think it now. What else has Kamala? But again, it flies in the face of all the truth.
Doesn't
and
matter.
Truth doesn't matter here. I guess.
Truth doesn't matter. Truth doesn't matter. It's what we're told. Listen, the liberals are locked and loaded on this. I mean, you're not going to even see Biden. He's not going to go campaign. You're not going to see him from now until November.
Well, to that point, there's a little bit of a fracture here because now Biden has done an interview yesterday before and basically didn't say it, but basically said he was pushed out. He didn't talk about handing the baton or passing the torch. No, the Democrats weren't happy with him on the down ballots. And even his own press secretary now is saying, well, she was here for the whole 3.5 years. His policies are her policies. And she said this yesterday, there's no daylight separating Biden and Harris.
That's right.
So even the Biden people aren't sticking with the company line. And I think they're mad. I think they're justifiably upset.
Oh, no. And she's going to pivot. I mean, you're going to think she's a moderate by November 1st, which is right around the corner, by the way. So, I mean, she's going to take a walk on all the crazy stuff about the border and Medicare. I thought it was brilliant that she basically hijacked the issue of no taxes on tips. I laughed to myself. I said, "Oh my goodness, she just hijacked that issue." So what Trump's got to do, he's got to stop whining. Oh my God, he's driving.
So who can get at him? I mean, so you're saying forget about policy. Everybody knows policy. Nobody cares. It's Trump personality that is going to make, because as you say, the people that love him. I'm going to vote for him a third time. I don't like what he does, but I'm going to vote for him a third time, 100%. So the people are going to vote for him, are going to vote for him anyway. But it's all the other people, which again goes to demographic, that you could pull their fingernails out one by one. They're not going to vote for Trump.
He needs a restart. He needs
a face. He needs a remodel. He needs a flip. He needs a flip.
He needs a restart. He's droning on. And this happens in campaigns. I mean, I've been through a zillion campaigns. You slip into automatic pilot where you just get up and you're giving your speech. I mean, he's faceless. He's emotion. There's no emotion. There's nothing.
You can almost predict every next sentence, every next thought. It's so predictable at this point.
And he's playing to the base. I mean, that's all he's doing. I mean, you got to stop complaining about how big is the crowd after she got off Air Force Two. All that crazy, silly.
I know.
It's sophomoric. And
I mean, I'm stunned that some polls, I mean, it's still tight, but some polls have Harris in front. And I'm like,
no question.
To your point, and I never thought of it. It doesn't matter. She doesn't matter. It could be Curly, Larry, or Mo. It doesn't matter. It'd be the same result.
It doesn't matter.
Trump.
So he's got to do one of two things. He's got to get more people to like him, or more people to dislike her. Now, the chances of getting more people to like him are zero. So he's really got to spend. I mean, I've not seen any ads or anything, but he's got to spend money tomorrow and take his whole campaign war chest, whatever it is, and empty it out tomorrow morning. He can't wait 60 days.
Do you agree, though, that most people, I've heard this before, I don't know, do you agree that most people don't even really start tuning in until after Labor Day?
That's probably right. Right. But I also believe that, excuse the word he who defines the issue wins the debate. He needs to define her before she defines herself. Now, he's already missed the chance. He's already missed these last few weeks, the last month, to define her. So is this weekend the convention? I
believe it is. Yes.
So the convention. I mean, they're gonna come out of this thing. You're gonna think that she cured cancer. Changed the world. I mean, it's gonna be huge. And if they're smart, this is going to be a real coronation, and it's going to really put a good picture of her and what she's done. It's going to redefine everything. And don't forget, you and I and our listeners are paying attention. The other 90% of the world are not. And so they're kind of, I didn't know. I didn't realize she did that. So they're going to put a beautiful picture of her and what she's done. And the negatives really aren't that high. I mean, nobody remembers the word salads and all that stuff. That's all stuff that the 10% focuses on. The rest of the world is like, oh, well, she seems pretty bright. Oh, she's got some great ideas. Oh, she doesn't want to tax my tips. Oh, she doesn't want to tax Social Security. And the list goes on. They're going to steer away from any controversial issue. They're going to leave Biden in the White House to, wander around by himself. And it's going to, I'm telling you.
Who's running the country, Gov?
Whoever's feeding the
diminished person. Who's running the country?
Whoever's feeding the teleprompter.
Really?
So that's a great question. if I were Trump, I would do ads really focusing. I would show her doing a word salad and then saying, hey, this is the person that you want to negotiate with world leaders. He's got to bring it up a notch. He's got to bring it to a point where
he has to get
hey,
presidential. He says he can be most presidential president of all time. He needs to get more presidential.
100%.
Yeah. How about debates? Do debates make a difference?
Absolutely.
Put her on the stage and let Trump at her?
Absolutely. And he can't be a bully.
Mm-hmm.
I think her most effective line, and it's going to resonate, and she might rise to the occasion. She's out there saying, "Oh, I've seen these guys around before. I've dealt with these types before."
Yeah.
So she's defining him.
Right.
You know what? And he said no to the debate in the beginning. Well, why would he do that? It makes him look like he's afraid of her.
But you taught me this years ago, and I think it's so true. And I've heard others say it, but I heard it first from you years ago. That in any election, there's only two questions that have to be asked and answered. Is it time for a change, or is it time to stay the course?
That's right.
Most people realize, and I see a lot of these, man on the street interview things. Most people realize we were way better off in Trump's 4 years than we were in these 3.5 of Harris Biden. Won't they revert back to those kitchen table pocketbook issues?
100%. And that's why he's got to do ads that say, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? That should be the ad. And it should be her saying something crazy. I mean, the ad should be really simple, 30 seconds. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And then pivot to her saying something crazy, which is easy to find. And then him saying, hey, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Boom, that's it. Because it's got to be simple. It's got to be thoughtful. It's got to affect us. Getting into all this other noise. I mean, he's the king of noise. And that noise is so distracting.
See, I think if you could get at them, if you could get at him, I think you could save the campaign and save the country.
Well,
all right, here's the question.
If he stays on this track, he loses.
Here's the question. Phone call comes Monday morning because people are going to see this and they're going to watch it. And we see more people watch us on replay than they watch live by 3 times. So somebody sees this and they go, you know what? We got to call John Rowland. So Monday the call comes out and you get invited to serve on the Trump campaign advisory team. What do you say?
I say restart, take a step back, take your breath, and keep it focused on 3 issues. Because people can only focus on a few issues. Keep it on 3 issues. She's got her finger on the button, the nuclear button. You're going to cut taxes, and the world is going to be a better place. And just keep it to that. And because I think he needs something for the 0.001% that are undecided.
Yeah.
He needs to find something for them to get their hands around.
Have you ever met Donald Trump?
Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, I've been down to Mar-a-Lago, and
yeah,
I've had him up here in Connecticut, and it's he. Let me say this: he's a weird guy. He's. I mean, the ego is just so.
No, he's got a lot of ego. Yeah, but I mean, honestly, all of us, all people who go into politics or seek leadership, there's got to be a degree of ego there.
100%. I mean, ego satisfaction is one of the, check off the first box of why people go into politics or things like this.
All right, let me shift gears for a minute because this is a shocking story that came out yesterday. Trump did a rally in North Carolina the other day. And again, first half hour was great. The problem is when he goes off the teleprompter, it's good and bad. It's a two-edged sword. He goes off the teleprompter, he says good things, but then he starts rambling. But if he stays on a teleprompter, it's boring. So I don't know what to do. All right. So Trump's in North Carolina. He's got a Secret Service detail. Now, this is after the attempted assassination. And we get a report that one of the agents leaves her position. She had come out of the Atlanta field office, left her position to breastfeed her baby, who was on site being cared for by a relative.
Oh, boy.
Have you ever, in your whole life of being a congressman, a governor, have you ever heard of somebody leaving a security detail to breastfeed a child?
Listen, something's going on big time with the Secret Service. I don't know whether it's diversity or the leadership.
Yeah, DEI, diversity, equity,
it's
inclusion.
all DEI. I mean, listen, if you want to inflict DEI in the workplace, wherever. But in the military, law enforcement, Secret Service, there's no place for that. You really have to bear down and have the best people. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy guy, but that assassination attempt, there's something critically wrong about all of it. I don't know what's going on. I don't know whether this kid was connected to Iran, whatever. But there's more to this story, because the failings of that mission are so obvious. And I mean, I hate to think that people were looking the other way, but it certainly feels that way.
I mean, even Trump was praising the effort. I mean, listen, I have no problems with the guys on the stage. They covered them. They did what they're supposed to do. But he got 8 shots off.
Right.
And even Trump was saying, "Oh, and the Secret Service sniper was so good, he was able to
Well, what about
how did he get 8 shots off?
How about the 10 people before that saw him, knew about
10,
him,
20,
reported on him,
30 screaming? He's up there, the whole thing is so.
And then this whole thing about, well, the guys on the ground, local law enforcement, they were unable to communicate with the Secret Service in real time. Well, what good is that in real time?
But there's
Amazon can deliver this coffee cup.
That's not true.
Yeah,
that they had a shared channel.
Of course,
they had a shared channel, and of course they could talk to each other. The local police are rebuffing all those things.
That's
because
right.
It just doesn't make sense.
No.
All right, if it's not about policy, let's talk about policy. Saturday, she's going to unload her economic plan for America, apparently. And one of the things that she's proposing that I guess will hit grocery stores more than anyone, food suppliers, is she wants to introduce price control, because her point is that during difficult times, COVID, whatever, there's price gouging going on. I think the average person probably likes that. People who understand how it works realize it's dumb.
Right.
But is this one more thing for people to like Kamala Harris?
100%. It's a great move. And if I were her advisor on her team, I would come out for it, because people don't care about capitalism. They don't care about, you really can't do this. She's going to be doing something, and it's going to, whether it really has an impact or not, doesn't matter. The look of it is going to be better than the reality of it. And it's going to look like she's stepping up. Now, here's what's going to happen. Trump's going to take the bait. Trump's going to say,
right.
Yeah, he's going to
explain why it's bad. Yeah.
Of course, he's going to take the bait. He's going to say, no, this isn't right. You can't have price controls. It affects capitalism, blah, blah, blah. So he's going to be against it. Meanwhile, you and I are going to say, wait a minute, she's trying to lower the prices at the grocery store. I don't care how she does it. I don't care if it's legal. I don't care if it's good or bad. It's going to happen. So it's a brilliant move, and it's the major issue. And he's going to take the bait, and he's going to say, oh, where were you the last 4 years, blah, blah, blah. That's not going to fly. And people are tuned out to that. So it's a smart move. And whoever the puppeteer is of late with her, they're smart. They're moving,
pulling the right strings.
They're keeping her, no interviews, and again, we're whining about all the wrong issues. And oh, by the way, the voting is all starting. Typical Republicans, we're talking about election day. Forget election day.
Yeah.
This election is way over before election day.
Well, to your point, we went and voted in the primary the other night, and I had Matt Corey won. I had Matt Corey on the show yesterday.
Yeah.
We went in and I said, "How's the turnout?" He goes, "It's pretty low. They've already had early voting." So the whole place was like 100 people the whole day.
Right.
It was
it's not about election day anymore. And we're still stuck in the Stone Age, and the Democrats are very effective at getting people registered. Listen, between now and then, do you know how many people that were illegal or here illegally are going to become voters?
Well, Biden's pressing it now. He wants to let them all get fast citizenship and all. They found they were doing of all places that should be looked at is Georgia, and Georgia found 40,000 illegal immigrants on the voting rolls.
Oh yeah,
40,000.
It's going to be huge. And listen, once they all get at least a driver's license, it's over. It's I don't know whether I think a part of it is that we're kind of stuck, and we can't get out of our own way. When I say we, meaning Republicans, and we got to say, you know what? Stop complaining. These are the new rules.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's early voting.
Yeah.
Let's get the kids out. Let's hire all the college kids we can find for this entire summer and start blanketing, you know, various neighborhoods and getting our own people registered to vote, telling our story. And I just don't, we're not being heard. And I think there's a lot of frustration out there, but we're all keeping quiet about it. You know, between woke and everything else, where everybody is neutralized.
But hasn't it always been that way with Republicans? Democrats are always more vocal, get out there, march, protest, organize. And we kind of like, you know, like the parties, going to the dinner parties.
But also don't forget, at least during those years, the press was somewhat in the middle. I mean, they pretended to be open, fair. They pretended to be neutral. Now they're all in. I mean, everybody is all in. The sides have been divided. It's Fox versus everybody else. And, you know, for those of us that get all of our news from Fox, we think, oh, this is that, you know, but the other 90% of America, I mean, they get their news from Oprah. You know, if you ask the American people, where do you get your news? They tell you, I watch Oprah. That's their news.
It's this thing right here. This thing has changed the world, and it's changed how people get news, receive news, process news, and a lot of it isn't even news. It's just people talking and social media. Last question. We're almost out of time. We're talking with former Governor John Rowland, who should still be governor. I think if he ran, he'd win today. No comment. So I want to go back to the last question, but I got to go back to this. So you get the call Monday from the Trump team. They want you to serve on the advisory board.
In a second.
You would?
Oh, in a second.
Yeah.
Oh,
good.
Sure,
Excellent.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, 100%.
Because I'm going to suggest that they call you. So
okay.
Good. Okay. All right. So we just had Ryan Fazio on, Senator Ryan Fazio from Greenwich. Pura, you work with these guys when you were governor, right? Yep. Pura approves a rate hike, and now Eversource and UI $800 million so they get a better rebate on charging stations, whoever it is. The taxpayers pay for it. Do we need a Pura? Can't we just have the legislature do this stuff? Get six guys, 6 gals, or 7. Has to be even number, odd number, whatever it has to be. Can't we just have the legislature do this?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, it's changed a little bit over the years, but the idea is that they're going to be experts and specialists, and they're going to be focused. And matter of fact, when you look at Pura, usually one person's an electric expert, somebody else is another expert on the various utilities, and they're appointed by the governor. So there's and they have to be, I think they have to be approved by the legislature. So there's some accountability there. It probably still works better than the whole legislature trying to get involved. But don't forget, the legislature can be involved and can affect policy tomorrow morning if they want.
Right. Well, Ryan said if he blamed anybody for high electric prices, he blames the General Assembly.
Well,
over the last 15 years.
They can certainly be on it. And I think a lot of it is just lack of knowledge, understanding the complexity of the rate hikes and how it works and how blah, blah, blah. But they have to approve the rate hikes. And you're right. My electric bill last month was unbelievable. And of course, I blame my family members. But
we were four change last month.
Oh, no, I was well over $600. Well over. But, we have it at, 49 degrees. So, but it's huge. But here's the people that I forget you and me. I feel for the single
What do you mean forget us? We're important. You can't
we're not important. Single moms, 2 kids, and filling up your gas tank, going to the grocery store, working 2 jobs, and paying your utility bills. Yeah. How do they do that? Yeah. It's paying the rent.
Well, and, to your point, they interviewed a working woman. She works in some industry, a good job, and she said, "Listen," she said, "I've got kids, single mom. If I can't afford to buy a $2 bell pepper because now they're 5, what do you think someone on food stamps is doing?"
Oh yeah,
and she got emotional about it. People around her were emotional in this panel. I mean, it's just those kind of kitchen table issues, and I think that's what Trump should focus on. But I think you're right. If somebody could get to him for a personality remake, we would be.
He needs to take a break. He needs to step back. He needs to take a break. He needs to take a day off. Just take a day off. Walk away.
Well, he did. He got shot. He took a bullet.
Take a breath. Come back.
Take a bullet for democracy.
And just stick to 3 issues and hammer those issues. But they got to get on. Listen, they better start advertising tomorrow.
Yeah. Well,
spending all their money, because if they wait too late, she's going to come out of this weekend with a huge bounce.
Everybody gets a bump out of a convention.
She's going to be 4 or 5 points ahead when she comes out.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
She's got the big moment. She's got the momentum. And the voting
Okay.
has started. All right.
All right. Thank you
Onward
so
and
much.
forward.
Always a pleasure to see you. And
Don't give
best
up.
to you and Patricia. And
Don't
enjoy
give
your
up.
boat painting. We like that. It's very nice.
Don't give up. That's my
Thank you.
escape.
All
That's,
right.
I'm escaping on that.
Thanks,
I'm
Guff.
going to row away.
All right, everybody. There you go. Governor John G. Rowland. Thanks, Guff. All right. Hey, we are out of time. Got to go. Listen, if you don't have plans this weekend, I'd love to see you. 4 o'clock on Saturday, 9 o'clock, 1045, New Life Church. Going to be doing a great message today. 5 different ways to really improve your life. 5 important steps, 5 important commitments, really, to improve your life. And we'd love to have you there. We've got great music, great food, safe, loving childcare. 4 o'clock Saturday, 9 o'clock Sunday, 10:45 on Sunday. Go more information, newlifechurchct.com. Listen, enjoy your weekend. God bless you. I love you. I'll see you Monday, 9 o'clock.